Lee and Cheryl finally set up their snail farm in southern Spain.
JD, job done.
But just 7 months later, it was a scene of devastation. And Lee and Cheryl were found running a fishery in Wales.
The only thing with a fishery that's I find a bit abhorrent is the fact that I've got to kill the fish. Sorry about this, Mr. Fish.
So Lee advertised for someone to do a swap back in Spain, and it looked like they might have hit gold.
It's absolutely fantastic. We can't fault it.
The owner, Sir David, even seemed keen on their fishery.
Oh, that looks superb.
But there was one little problem.
Have you got any pictures of the actual house?
Well, there is no house.
He didn't fancy living in a caravan.
No, I can't see us wanting to do it. I am sorry.
So they were back to square one. Having failed to lure Sir David into swapping his finca for their fish pond, a disappointed Lee and Cheryl have returned to North Wales.
Oh! Unfortunately, his place was right, but ours wasn't right for him. There was no accommodation, and he wanted some accommodation.
Lee told Corky, basically. I mean, all Sir David kept saying was he was looking at the pictures and he was saying, oh, what a beautiful lake and Daddy down, where's the house?
Never mind. We keep trying.
I am disappointed, but not surprised. Can we put it like that?
It's a month later, and the Welsh winter is starting to take its toll. With little or no business, morale at the fishery is low.
It's getting us down a bit,
What is?
this place.
Yes, I've had enough of this bad weather, etc. And I'm sorry we came back in the first place. And I want to go back as quick as possible.
We'll end up murdering each other if we've got to spend a winter in this tin box.
But the good news is that Lee and Cheryl are expecting a visit today from a potential new business partner called Ray. As ever with Lee, though, it's a little bit complicated.
There's a guy called Ray Johnston, and I phoned him the other morning, and he was most indignant that I'd interrupted him because he was still eating his toast at 8:30 in the morning. Well, I can't really see between here and Cambridge. However,
Cambridge is where he lives, is it?
well, I've no idea. And then he said he would ring me back that evening, but he never bothered. I phoned him again the following day.
Must have been a lot of toast.
And, no, David is a Socian who's with Windmill... Norfolk...
No, he's Norfolk Log Homes.
Norfolk Log Homes.
Anyway, let's do everyone a favour here and cut a very long story short.
Ipswich to Ceredigion.
See what I mean? So, basically, Lee has a meeting arranged with this guy called Ray, who apparently works for a log cabin company, and Lee is hoping that they might be interested in putting some cabins on the fishery to make it more saleable. The only problem is, Ray was meant to be here at lunchtime, and he still hasn't turned up.
So, what happens now? We don't know. But we should wait and see. It's only mid-afternoon, so...
Another hour later, and they finally get a call.
Hang on just a second, I'll get him for you now. Lee!
Hello!
It's Ray!
Right.
So, will this be good news, or has Ray found some more toast?
Hello, Ray. I'm all right. Where are you?
Good question.
On your way to Chester?
Bad answer.
Oh, all right, but you're definitely coming today. All right. Thanks, Ray. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
You coming?
Yeah.
Oh. He's on his way, is he?
Yeah, from Chester.
Chester, what's he
What's he doing in Chester?
He was on his way, then he remembered he had to come and see us.
On his way where?
I'd no idea.
I thought you had a meeting with him, Lee.
We have.
Well, we did have.
We did have.
So do you think he'll come?
Well, he said he would, like his phone calls.
But as the sun begins to set, there's still no sign of Ray. So we make a call to Ray ourselves and do indeed track down Lee's potential new business partner to Chester. Well, you're not supposed to be dropping in on Lee and Cheryl today.
Yeah, all good plans and all that kind of thing. Just got totally lost. It's a bit tricky down that neck of the woods, especially when it's raining and getting dark. And they don't seem to bother about signs anywhere.
So what's your plan now?
I'm going to give him a ring later on. Probably not this evening because it's going to be late by the time we get home again. And I'll probably sort out something with him tomorrow.
None of which is much comfort to Lee and Cheryl, of course, who've now been waiting for Ray for over 9 hours.
I've had enough of this now.
Any sign of him?
No, none at all.
But it's dark now.
I know. You don't know the prat he is.
A week later, and Ray has finally called and rearranged their meeting. But Lee and Cheryl still haven't forgiven him for not turning up last time.
The guy came within 10 miles of this place, so he must have driven at least 3 or 4 hours. And then he turned off and went somewhere else. And I just thought that was very rude.
He couldn't even be bothered to pick up a phone and phone us and say, look, I'm broken down, I've taken a diversion, I haven't done this or whatever. But nothing at all. So, as far as I'm concerned, he's a tosser and he can go away and multiply as far as I'm concerned.
Of course, Lee can be a little harsh in his judgments, and Ray has assured them that this time he'll definitely be there. And sure enough, true to his word, just after midday, Ray pitches up together with his colleague Peter. And although Lee's had to wait over a week for this moment, he's nothing if not a professional salesman, and his welcome couldn't be warmer.
How you doing, Lee?
All right, lovely. It's not always raining here, Peter. Honest.
I believe it is.
It's
From
not.
what I've been told.
Despite the rain, Lee immediately launches into a spirited sales pitch, keen to convince his new best friends of the fishery's full potential.
But I mean, to put 20 cars here is nothing. It's 10 there in 10 years. We haven't any neighbours this side.
What Lee is hoping is that Ray and Peter will come in as partners to develop the fishery.
I don't particularly want to sell it, to be honest with you, because I reckon if I sell this for 170 grand, I'm doing my brains on it. I'm not losing money, but I can see the potential. So if I put it with somebody, or somebody comes in with me on it, let's say develop it, and give me some readies to go to Spain. We need living money, that's all.
Sure. Leave it with me just a moment, Lee. I'll talk to a couple of people, see what we can sort out.
Well, Ray and Peter seem a little cautious. But now here comes Cheryl, and she, of course, is blissfully unaware that Lee has switched sides, and Peter and Ray are now his bosom pals.
Oh, you're the chap who didn't turn up last week.
Oh!
Got all the way to Clonwen and then never turned up.
Drove
10
through.
miles away. God.
But she very wisely suggests that we all get out of the rain.
What about if we retire to the local pub and we
That
can have
seems
a
a
chat?
good idea.
Because
It's
you
a
know,
bit
you don't
warmer,
want to be
yeah.
stuck in here. It's
Right.
not very-
Hokey dokey.
All right.
Go and get your coat. You'll have to leave the dogs in.
So, how does Ray feel things are progressing so far?
Well, it's changed again, hasn't it? He wanted to sell it last week, now he wants to join venture.
Oh, right. Well, it'll change every day, Ray, you know.
Yeah, I know.
The problem is that Lee is convinced he's just found his ideal partners, while Ray and Peter don't seem to want to touch his project with a barge pole.
We got the toilet, obviously. We got the reception. That's fine.
It seems that Lee is hoping to develop a sort of fishy theme park, a kind of trout world, and on paper his plans almost look convincing. In fact, all he needs now is a dozen or so of Ray and Peter's log cabins.
If somebody come up and said and put a big pile of pound notes on the table now, fine. But that's not going to happen. So what I'm thinking at this moment is Peter and there's Lee.
Yeah.
So let's get together. We say, right, Peter, you make the log cabins and put them on there, and over a year or 2 year period, we knock it all out and we split it down the middle.
Yeah, I keep reiterating, you've got to find yourself a business partner, not an investor.
Right. So this is
what you need.
This is what I thought when you were coming down, that perhaps you might have been interested in.
Yeah,
that,
as I
but-
say, we're manufacturing. We manufacture the things. We're not into getting into sites at the moment. You've got to now sit down and say, okay, let's work out a business plan, because no matter who's going to come and talk to you, they want to see what the potential is of the business and what the actual return is going to be on that investment. So you need a proper cash flow and business plan.
Well, this is all getting far too sensible for Lee, and Peter has clearly lost him altogether now.
And they will say to you, well, why don't we do this or why don't we do that? But they've got to have something to work from.
So Lee's ex-new business partners beat a hasty retreat.
You're not impressed, are you?
Starts with a W and ends in an R.
Oh, not again. Well, they obviously don't want to be involved. They're
Exactly.
quite happy to let us sell them for commission, obviously.
That's right, yeah. Well, I can do that with anybody.
He has got a very simplistic attitude towards it, that somebody's just going to walk in with pots of money and say, well, there you are, Lee, here's all the money, you go off to Spain and we'll sort it all out for you.
Peter was talking to me there as though I'm some kind of numpty just come up off
He
on a banana
wasn't.
boat telling me that I need cash flows
You
and I need this.
do! I think that Peter's right. I think that if we do want somebody else to come in with us, which I'm not sure that we do need somebody to come in with us, that we do need cash flows and we do need, what do you call them, plans, you know.
Business plans.
Business plan, that's it. But he won't listen because he's a dinosaur and he says he can do it without that, but I don't think so.
Lee's changeable. It's one week it's this, and next week it's something else. I was just hoping it'd be a little bit more easier. But it's a beautiful place down there. There's plenty to do, but it's I don't think it'll get done.
But Lee and Cheryl are determined to leave Wales, and Lee has another plan up his sleeve. They've flown back down to the Costa del Sol, and they've brought with them a new prospective business partner called Chris.
Lee and Cheryl came in to see us about the possibility of a log cabin, and it started from there. I would like to think we became friends.
That's true.
Well, certainly became friendly with Cheryl anyway. But,
Chris's company supplies mobile homes, and Lee has a plan for utilising a garden centre he's been renting here in southern Spain.
Lee's idea was to turn the garden centre into a sales depot, if you like, mainly to sell caravans to people who are doing house builds, which I thought was a good idea.
It's a good site. We bought the site and it's good for what we want. It's excellent.
You haven't bought it, have you, Lee? You've rented it.
Well, we've leased it
We've
in
leased
for,
it, yeah.
what they call it, perpetuity. That means forever, and I should live forever.
So they head the 20 kilometres or so inland to La Vinuela, where the disused half of this garden centre has been Lee's for nearly a year now. What he's hoping is that they could use these premises to sell Chris's mobile homes and caravans from.
So, what your first...
My first impression, I think it's a bit off the beaten track, to be quite honest with you. Like.
Oh.
So not a great start, but Lee refuses to be disheartened.
But don't forget, we got a lot of Brits and Dutch, German...
Come to the
coming
garden centre to
buy
buy their pots and things.
Of course. And this piece of ground, this is all yours then?
Yeah.
But what Lee seems to have forgotten, or at least forgotten to say, is that this open space at the front is a shared cark and doesn't belong to him.
So it's quite a big area, really, isn't it?
Lee's portion is the bit straight ahead, and it's entirely covered by these metal frames, which would have supported polythene tunnels, ideal for farming his snails.
Well, they could go in the polytunnels, couldn't they?
I wouldn't think it would be entirely suitable, no.
So, not wishing to be too negative, but Lee does seem to have misled Chris as to what he does and doesn't actually lease here.
I'd forgotten, to be quite honest, my mind's eye, that these crossbars were...
As low as that.
If I was being perfectly honest with
Well,
you,
yeah, you've got to be honest, because, you know...
in my opinion, it's not suitable for what you're looking to do.
Oh, dear.
So I'm a bit confused. In your head, what was it exactly you were hoping to do here, Lee? Were you hoping to have snails and mobile
Yeah, why
homes?
not? We've got plenty of room to do it.
But the bottom line is...
It's not suitable.
I don't think so.
Suitable for what we wanted it for, but it's not suitable now, so
So are you back to the drawing board again?
just a bit.
So they've travelled a long way, only to be foiled by something so fundamental. But then Lee remembers that the garden centre is only a few kilometres away from the snail farm he and Cheryl set up last year.
Hello, is that Tim?
It is indeed.
Guess who this
Who's
is?
that?
Guess who this is?
Well, it sounds pretty Welsh, so it must be Lee.
That's correct.
Okay, so how's the weather in Wales then?
Well, we're not in Wales at the moment. We're about 3 minutes away at the garden centre.
What, you're over in Spain?
Yeah, but...
In La Vinuela?
Yeah, and we're coming up to see you, and then we want to go up and see the snail farm.
I'll tell you what, Lee, there's nothing like a bit of notice, is there?
Tim doesn't seem too chuffed to hear from Lee, But perhaps it's because this is a Sunday morning and it's still only 9:30.
We'll see you in about half hour, mate.
All right then, Lee.
All right, God bless.
Lee, however, has cheered himself up a treat.
Go on.
So how was he?
Surprised.
So, once again, it's all aboard Lee's magic roundabout. But he's going to be a little disappointed if he's expecting to see Bran the snail.
Sorry to call so early on a Sunday morning.
How you doing?
All right, mate.
All right.
Yeah, long time no see.
I know. Tell me about it.
Yeah.
There we are.
Well, you knew we'd be back anyway.
Well, yeah, but I haven't heard a thing at all, you know.
Of course, what Lee and Cheryl don't yet know is that their snail farm became defunct just a few weeks after they left Spain.
So let's go and have a look at our
Well, we
snail
come to see
farm
our
then.
snail farm.
What snail farm then?
Well, there was friggin' snail farm there.
Well, there
Where's it
was.
gone?
And I agreed to look after it for a month. Did I not?
Yeah,
And you
right.
shook on that. And then I heard no sight or sound of you. Tried to email you, no reply. So I had to
dear,
take it down
dear.
myself. And it's all under my terrace at the moment.
Oh.
Yeah, but you didn't call me to see how your snails were or anything like
Well,
that.
we thought you were,
Looking
you know,
after 'em.
looking
Yeah, but
after him for
you
us.
lumbered me with the snail farm.
No, we were
Lumbered
going to
you? We were
split
gonna
it.
go-
No, we were going to split it with you. You know that.
50-50.
Yeah,
Why
but
didn't you just give us a ring or something? And let
I
us
tried.
know
I
if
said
you...
I tried.
Oh, great. Oh, well.
So,
Thanks
start
very
again.
much. Cheers.
no, don't be like that. Don't
Well,
be like that.
Well,
You know,
we
I've
weren't.
tried to help you as much as I can, and you know, just get thrown back in your face.
Lee and Cheryl are clearly devastated,
That's what's left of it.
but Tim is unrepentant.
For them to be angry with me because I took the snail farm down, you know, I'm well within. I kept my side of the bargain. To me, they weren't interested in the snail farm from as soon as it was finished, really.
Well, yeah, I can understand he was a bit Humpty-Dumpty about it, but there again, it was we're entitled to be Humpty-Dumpty as well. It's just a mix-up, that's all. It was just...
I would have thought they'd either contact me whilst, you know, before getting the flight over here and arrange to meet up.
That's not Lee's way, you know that.
Well, we all know that, you know, it's very, I don't know.
Go on, say it, spit it out.
He's a bit of a freaking plonker, isn't he?
It's fair to say that the atmosphere here has become a little tense,
there's not even any of our plants left.
No.
but it now appears that Chris is making a mysterious call in an effort to help Lee and Cheryl.
I've actually had quite a disappointing day, so I'm just about to make the day for them, I think.
All right, we'll
Okay.
come down here and we'll cheer him up.
Right.
He's been feeling sorry for them and is trying to salvage something from their trip.
I found a park
You found one?
that you can sell caravans on. It's through the Associate.
Chris has made contact with some British colleagues whose company sells plots and mobile homes around Spain.
What they've asked us to do, if we want to nip down, there's only down the road,
Fine.
to Villanesa, and then tomorrow we can take you
That'd be
and
mad.
show you the
Oh, that
park.
is fantastic. Thank you so much. No, honestly, thank you.
With all your snails disappearing, I thought I've got to do something.
So it's off down to the coast again, to a place called Villanesa. The campsite itself is right opposite the sea. But as far as we can make out, this is not where Lee and Cheryl would be working, but merely where they've come to meet up with Chris's contacts.
Hiya. How are you?
Michelle and her husband Mark have just secured a franchise to sell plots and mobile homes on another campsite called El Chorro.
Nice to meet you.
Mark had mentioned that you're actually looking for an agent to help sell your new development up at El Chorro. And I thought, perfect for Lee and Cheryl.
Yeah, you know Spain, you know the areas, it's
Well,
brilliant.
funny enough, I stayed here 1985 with my third wife
On this side.
on this site.
Third wife?
I thought it was your fifth wife. It was your
Third
third
and
wife
fifth.
and your fifth wife.
Yeah.
He married her twice.
But that was a bit silly, if you didn't work the first time. Never mind.
Well, if Michelle thinks that was silly, she should have been with us for the past 18 months. Villanesa is a bizarre and rather eclectic campsite. So it comes as no surprise that Lee was so attracted to it many wives ago. But Mark and Michelle are keen to show them the type of homes they would be selling at the new site, El Chorro. The ones that Chris's company supplies, in fact.
Yeah, I mean, that gives you an idea.
Lovely.
And let's face it, there's nothing Lee and Cheryl like more than a nice mobile home.
Oh, look at this. Look at the space in it.
It's just like home from home, isn't it?
Oh, my God.
So you can't say they don't know their market. And to give them a better idea of what the job entails, Michelle takes them to meet the sales agent for this site, Lorraine.
Hello. Hello. This is Cheryl and this is Lee.
A larger-than-life character, Lorraine gives Lee and Cheryl a warm welcome, but not as warm as the welcome she gives Chris.
You know Chris, obviously. This is Lee and Cheryl.
Are you, by any chance, pleased to see Lorraine?
It's become apparent that Chris might have had an ulterior motive for bringing us here. Anyway, back to the business in hand.
Lorraine's been here, what, for 4 months now?
Yeah. And I'd never really ever sold a caravan before, but I had lived in them. So to sell a
knew
caravan,
what you were talking
you've got
about.
to sell the life about it first.
Well, you said that earlier, didn't you? Straight
And
away.
Once you've lived in a caravan,
which we have.
That's what you're selling, the absolute lifestyle of it all.
Well, she's preaching to the converted here, and it turns out that for Lorraine, selling mobile homes is not so much a job, but a deep and spiritual calling.
You know what it is as well? You will enjoy putting someone in their new home.
Yeah.
It won't be like selling them an house because they'll have to decorate that, but this will be selling the whole piece
Because
to
it's
them.
all complete.
It's all
Everything's
complete, and
there,
you'll really feel at the end of it that it'll become yours as well. I can't make you understand yet because I'll get the feeling, and when I get a sale and I sell someone a caravan, I can't wait for them to get in it. I can't wait for them to see how happy they are.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got people over there like Jill and Steve. They're really, really happy. They didn't think that they'd be happy in a caravan. She's got two now, so.
Now, there's no doubt that Lorraine has found true enlightenment since converting to caravanism. And there's a good support mechanism for the newly converted.
We wouldn't just chuck you in the deep end. We'd be with you 100%. You know, we'd help you as much as possible. We'd get the people out there. You could have 4 or 5 couples out there at one time and do what me and Mark used to do, jiggle them about. That sounds quite rude, doesn't it? But you know what I mean.
Well, it's been a strange afternoon, but of course we should be used to that by now.
We will see you again.
All that remains is for brother Chris to receive his final blessing, and hopefully we're out of here.
You're still wobbling then.
Thanks, Lorraine. See you later. Bye.
So, are Lee and Cheryl now ready to spread the word?
Have we had a good end to the day then?
Oh,
Excellent.
absolutely.
Par excellence,
Great
I
end.
think, today.
Yeah,
par excellence.
pretty bad.
From
ups
a
and
disastrous start to a magic finish.
finish, yeah, great.
Well, amen to that. And in the next chapter, the new campsite, El Chorro, turns out to be a Garden of Eden. Lee and Cheryl are definitely tempted,
Yes, I must say I'm impressed with this.
Yeah, very nice.
and Cheryl even makes her first sale.
Congratulations.
She's never been this happy because she's got exactly what she wants now.
I just made a sale, man.
But back in the UK, Lee seems to be losing the faith.
I'd rather buy my own land over there and put my own vans on it, to be perfectly honest.